June 23, 2025, 1400 hours Zulu time, Barents Sea, 74 degrees north, 37 degrees east. The USS Porter DDG-78 cuts through Arctic waters at 18 knots. Her AN/SPY-1 Delta radar sweeps the horizon in steady rotations. Captain Marcus Reynolds stands on the bridge, coffee growing cold in his weathered hands. The destroyer operates under NATO patrol orders, monitoring Russian naval activity. Ice crystals form on the bridge windows as temperatures hover at -12 degrees Celsius. Sonar technician 3rd Class Martinez hunches over his console in the Combat Information Center. The ship's complement of 312 sailors maintains heightened readiness. 1423 hours. Contact bearing 045 degrees, range 200 nautical miles, announces Petty Officer Chen. The AN/SPY-1 radar paints two large aircraft approaching from the northeast. Airspeed indicates 450 knots, altitude 20,000 feet. Classification: 2 Tupolev 95 Bears, reports the Air Warfare Coordinator. Captain Reynolds steps closer to the tactical display screen. The Russian bombers maintain steady course toward the destroyer's position. Their massive turboprop engines create distinctive acoustic signatures on passive sonar. Each Tu-95 carries a crew of 6 highly trained airmen. The aircraft stretch 162 feet in length, with swept wings spanning 164 feet. Maximum takeoff weight exceeds 185,000 pounds. 1,431 hours. Range now 150 nautical miles in closing, reports the radar operator. The bombers descend to 15,000 feet, increasing approach angle. Captain Reynolds activates the ship's general quarters alarm. Sailors sprint to battle stations throughout the destroyer's 7 decks. The ship's 2 Mark 45 5-inch guns rotate toward the approaching threat. Close-in weapon systems power up with mechanical whirring sounds. The Phalanx CIWS mounts track the incoming aircraft automatically. 20mm Gatling guns load 6-barrel rotary cannons. Rate of fire: 4,500 rounds per minute. Effective range: 1.5 nautical miles. 1,438 hours. Russian aircraft. Russian aircraft. This is United States Navy warship on Channel 16. Transmits the communications officer. You are approaching United States naval vessel in international waters. Maintain safe distance. Static fills the radio frequencies. No response from the Russian pilots. The Tu-95 bombers continue their relentless approach. Range decreases to 100 nautical miles. Altitude drops to 12,000 feet. The lead bomber's nose-mounted radar begins active scanning. Electronic warfare systems detect multiple targeting frequencies. "They're painting us," announces the electronic warfare petty officer. His voice carries barely controlled tension. Sweat beads form on foreheads despite the frigid air. 1,445 hours. The Russian bombers execute a coordinated turn to attack heading. Separation distance: 2 nautical miles between aircraft. Altitude now 8,000 feet and descending rapidly. Airspeed increases to 520 knots. "This is not a standard reconnaissance pass," observes the tactical action officer. Captain Reynolds grips the bridge railing with white knuckles. The ship's defensive systems track both targets simultaneously. Mark 15. Phalanx systems acquire lock on the lead bomber. Targeting computers calculate intercept solutions continuously. The destroyer's complement prepares for potential engagement. Damage control teams stand ready throughout the ship. Medical personnel prepare the sickbay for casualties. 1,451 hours. Range 70 nautical miles, calls the Air Warfare Coordinator. The bombers split formation, approaching from different vectors. Lead aircraft bears 040 degrees relative. Trail aircraft maneuvers to 060 degrees relative. Both maintain rapid descent profile toward the destroyer. Altitude now 6,000 feet and decreasing. Weapons free, orders Captain Reynolds. His voice echoes through the ship's communication system. Every sailor feels the weight of potential combat. The destroyer's radar signature intensifies as systems activate. Electronic countermeasures begin jamming Russian targeting radars. Chaff dispensers prepare to deploy metallic interference clouds. 1,456 hours. Multiple radar locks detected, announces the electronic warfare specialist. Both Russian bombers maintain aggressive approach profiles. The lead Tu-95 descends through 4,000 feet. Airspeed now 560 knots and increasing. Distance to destroyer: 45 nautical miles. The bomber's ventral bay doors remain closed, but sensors detect internal movement. Kart-22 anti-ship missiles could deploy within seconds. Each missile weighs 12,000 pounds with conventional warheads. Range capability exceeds 400 nautical miles. Speed at impact: 3.5 times the speed of sound. The destroyer's defensive envelope tightens around the ship. Standard Missile 2 interceptors stand ready in vertical launch cells. 1,459 hours. Range 30 nautical miles, reports the tactical display operator. The Russian aircraft execute another course correction toward the destroyer. Lead bomber altitude, 2,500 feet. Trail bomber maintains 3,000 feet separation. Both aircraft approach at dangerously low altitude for their size. The massive turboprops create visible vapor trails in the cold air. Contra-rotating propellers generate tremendous acoustic pressure waves. "They're going to buzz us," realizes the air warfare coordinator. His hands shake slightly as he adjusts radar parameters. Captain Reynolds activates the ship's defensive posture protocols. All personnel not essential for combat operations take cover. The destroyer's speed increases to flank speed, 30 plus knots, 1,500 hours. Range 20 nautical miles, announces the radar operator. Both bombers maintain attack profiles despite repeated radio warnings. The lead aircraft descends through 1,500 feet. Its enormous shadow begins to appear on the destroyer's forward cameras. Trail bomber follows at slightly higher altitude. The sound of massive turboprop engines becomes audible across the water. Each engine generates 11,000 horsepower. Propeller diameter spans 18 feet of contra-rotating blades. The bomber's approach creates visible atmospheric disturbance. Sailors on deck crane their necks skyward at the approaching giants. Fear mixes with professional determination throughout the crew. The destroyer's weapon systems maintain continuous target tracking. 1,503 hours. Range 15 nautical miles, calls the air controller. The Russian bombers ignore all communication attempts. Lead aircraft altitude drops below 1,000 feet. The Tu-95's massive fuselage fills the destroyer's optical sensors. Crew members glimpse the bomber's external fuel tanks. 4 turboprop engines roar at maximum continuous power. The aircraft approaches from the destroyer's starboard quarter. Its wingspan appears larger than the ship's beam width. Trail bomber maintains parallel course offset by 1 nautical mile. Both aircraft create massive acoustic pressure waves. The destroyer's hull vibrates from the engine noise. Electronic systems experience slight interference from the proximity. 1,505 hours. Range 10 nautical miles, reports the tactical officer. The lead bomber descends to 500 feet above sea level. Its massive propellers churn the air just above the wave tops. The aircraft's nose radar continues active scanning of the destroyer. Russian aircrew presumably observe the American warship through cockpit windows. The Tu-95's defensive tail gunner position remains manned. Twin 23mm cannons could engage surface targets. Effective range approximately 2 nautical miles. The bomber's electronic warfare suite attempts to jam ship radars. American countermeasures respond automatically. A deadly game of electronic chess plays out between the platforms. The destroyer's crew maintains disciplined silence at battle stations. 1,507 hours. Range 5 nautical miles, announces the radar operator. Both Russian bombers maintain extremely low altitude. The lead aircraft appears massive through the ship's binoculars. Its 4-engine configuration creates distinctive engine harmonics. The bomber's landing gear remains retracted despite low altitude. This indicates no emergency situation aboard the Russian aircraft. The approach represents deliberate intimidation tactics. Trail bomber parallels the lead aircraft's flight path. Both maintain course directly toward the destroyer's position. The gap narrows with each passing second. Collision potential increases exponentially. American sailors prepare for potential impact. 1,509 hours. Range 3 nautical miles, calls the air warfare coordinator. The lead Tu-95 descends to 300 feet altitude. Its enormous shadow darkens the destroyer's forward sections. The bomber's length exceeds half the destroyer's overall length. Massive engine noise overwhelms all other sounds. Radio communications become nearly impossible. The aircraft's prop wash creates visible disturbance on the ocean surface. Sea spray kicks up from the tremendous downward air pressure. Russian aircrew likely observe individual American sailors on deck. The destroyer's defensive weapons track the bomber continuously. Failing systems calculate engagement envelopes automatically. One mistake by either side could trigger catastrophic escalation. 1,511 hours. Range 1 nautical mile, reports the tactical display operator. The Russian bomber fills the entire forward view from the bridge. Its 4 turboprop engines create deafening roar across the water. The aircraft maintains collision course with the destroyer. Altitude now estimated at 200 feet above sea level. The Tu-95's massive wingspan appears to eclipse the ship. Contra-rotating propellers create mesmerizing visual effects. The bomber's crew compartment windows become visible. Russian aircrew presumably observe American defensive preparations. Both sides maintain professional discipline, despite extreme tension. The destroyer's captain faces an impossible decision matrix. Engagement could trigger international incident of massive proportions. 1,512 hours. The lead bomber roars directly overhead at 150 feet. Its massive fuselage blocks sunlight from reaching the destroyer's deck. Engine noise reaches painful decibel levels throughout the ship. The aircraft's slipstream rocks the destroyer violently. Sea spray erupts from the bomber's prop wash disturbance. Russian national markings become clearly visible on the wing surfaces. The Tu-95's defensive armament remains trained away from the ship. Trail bomber follows the same flight path 30 seconds behind. Both aircraft maintain radio silence despite continued American transmissions. The psychological impact on both crews reaches maximum intensity. Professional military training prevents panic among all personnel. The moment of maximum danger passes without kinetic engagement. 1,514 hours. Both Russian bombers climb away from the destroyer's position. The lead aircraft ascends through 500 feet altitude. Trail bomber follows parallel course with slight separation. Engine noise gradually diminishes as distance increases. The destroyer's defensive systems maintain tracking until maximum range. Captain Reynolds maintains general quarters for additional 30 minutes. Crew members slowly return to normal watch-standing procedures. The immediate threat passes without shots fired. Electronic warfare systems document the entire encounter. Radio transmissions resume normal clarity as interference decreases. The Russian aircraft turn northeast toward home bases. Their mission accomplished without direct confrontation. 1,520 hours. The USS Porter transmits detailed incident report to fleet commanders. All sensor data uploads to naval intelligence systems immediately. The Russian bombers disappear beyond radar horizon. Normal patrol operations resume with heightened awareness. The encounter represents escalating tensions in Arctic regions. Both sides demonstrated restraint despite extreme provocation. The incident will generate diplomatic protests and strategic analysis. Future patrols face increased risk of similar encounters. The Barents Sea remains contested waters between superpowers. Neither side achieved decisive tactical advantage. The Cold War mentality persists in modern naval operations.